Thanks for joining us on the CBN News Channel. I'm Charlene Israel. Protests and calls for federal charges after a Florida jury acquitted George Zimmerman of the murder in the Trayvon Martin case, signaling that the trial may be over, but the case will have a lasting impact for months to come. The not guilty verdict sparked demonstrations in cities across the U.S. and a debate about the legal justice system.
I couldn't imagine being that family right now. I just thought we were going to get some kind of justice.
You see little bits and pieces, and you have to speculate and think of the whole trial just from those little pieces, whereas the jury, they're there for the whole trial. They see all the evidence, and they have everything to consider.
The Justice Department announced Sunday that it's considering filing its own charges against Zimmerman now that he's been acquitted in the case.
The reality is, in these types of cases where there are very serious questions, we know there will be a state phase, there will be a civil phase almost assuredly, and then there will be a federal civil rights phase.
But experts say federal prosecutors face a high bar, proving beyond a reasonable doubt that Zimmerman acted because of Trayvon Martin's race. Meanwhile, Saturday's not guilty verdict means Zimmerman can resume his lawsuit against NBC News. Producers there misedited his 911 call. The abridged version plays up a racial angle and is said to have convicted him in the court of public opinion. Experts say the media handled the case wrong from the start, portraying Zimmerman as a bully and Martin as the innocent victim. There are concerns for Zimmerman's safety. He's already received hundreds of death threats. Trayvon Martin's family is also in an undisclosed location due to threats against them. Lawmakers in Texas finally passed tough new abortion restrictions. A filibuster and rowdy protesters blocked the measure 3 weeks ago. The Republican majority passed the bill Saturday just before midnight, with all but one Democrat voting against it. Republicans rejected some 20 amendments proposed by Democrats who wanted to water down the proposed restrictions. Those restrictions include a ban on abortion after 20 weeks. It will also require abortion clinics to raise their health and safety standards. More than 2,000 demonstrators filled the state capitol building to voice their opposition. The high-profile case of abortionist Kermit Gosnell has also energized pro-life supporters who stood their ground at the Capitol.
We're here to make sure that if you call it safe abortion, it better be safe abortion, and it's not.
Democrats promised to fight the measure in the courts and at the ballot box. Governor Rick Perry is set to sign the bill into law this week. Iran is getting closer and closer to developing a nuclear bomb, and the regime isn't just targeting Israel. It has its sights set on the U.S. as well. That's the warning from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
They're building ICBMs to reach the American mainland within a few years. They're pursuing an alternate route of plutonium, that is, enrich uranium to build a nuclear bomb. One route, plutonium, another route, and ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, to reach you. They don't need these missiles to reach us. They already have missiles that can reach us. They're doing that after the election. So they haven't yet reached it, but they're getting closer to it, and they have to be stopped.
Netanyahu says he won't wait until it's too late to wage an attack on Iran. Well, Iran isn't the only threat to Israel. Danger awaits across each border. Now, fighting in Syria makes the north an area of concern as well. Here's Chris Mitchell from the Golan Heights.
This is the Harev, or Sword Battalion, preparing for war. CBN News got a rare look at this live fire exercise. This battalion specializes in fighting in northern terrain. In any future war, they'll be the first ones across the border. For example, in the Second Lebanon War in 2006, they were the first ones in and the last ones out. Lieutenant Colonel Shadi Perez is the battalion commander and oversaw the exercise.
The goal of the training is to improve the service of the battalion for war focusing on the battlefield terrain, similar to Lebanon against Hezbollah.
For 2 days and nights, the battalion's commander put them through a series of surprise scenarios, maneuvers, and then threw the soldiers into the middle of this mock battle. It included tanks and live ammunition.
We came here to the Golan Heights and performed live fire exercises. With all this preparation, we will be ready to face Hezbollah.
For the idea of preparing for war is a way of life.
We should always be ready. This is one of the reasons we're making this exercise.
Hezbollah is now deeply involved in Syria's civil war and fighting for Syrian President Assad. It's been weakened, but still represents a formidable enemy for Israel. Israeli intelligence estimates Hezbollah has 50,000 rockets in its arsenal. A few thousand of those rockets could reach Tel Aviv. The Harev battalion would likely be the tip of the spear in a future war with Hezbollah. It's made up completely of Israeli citizens from the Druze community. Druze speak Arabic and are considered very patriotic. Many fight not just because they're soldiers, but because they're family men, like Lieutenant Monir Hamoud.
When I look towards the Lebanese border, I can see my house and my village. I'm protecting my home and family. That's why I'm here. I'm a married man with 2 children, providing them with everything, even my life, so that they will be happy. When I look at my soldiers, I'm reminded of my people. I'm ready to do whatever it takes for them and my family.
No one knows when a war may break out on Israel's northern border, but for now, this unit will serve as Israel's eyes and ears in the north, their watchmen on the wall. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, the Golan Heights.
Back here at home, Fuller's Evangelical Seminary in California has approved an official student organization for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender students. The decision has sparked debate in the larger world of Christian colleges. Although other Christian schools have approved similar organizations, Fuller is the first evangelical seminary to do so. Reverend Peter Sprigg of the Family Research Council said Fuller is not acting in the students' best interest by sanctioning the group and should instead be teaching reorientation as the students' best option. Best-selling author and TV co-host Ray Comfort has a new movie out, Evolution versus God. A supporter of intelligent design, Comfort says the film will disprove Darwinian evolution. According to Christian news service, one reviewer said the film is, quote, absolutely devastating. If it were a boxing match, the referee would have stopped the interviews with all of those people, including the professors. Take a look.
Imagine visiting some of the world's most prestigious universities, interviewing top evolutionary scientists, atheists, and holding their feet to the fire until it's clear that there is no evidence for Darwinian evolution, that it's not scientific.
We have thousands of examples. Can you give me one? I can give you thousands, just one. To summarize, the observable evidence that you give me for Darwinian evolution is bacteria becoming bacteria. Still bacteria, there's no change of claims.
Recently on CBN's Newswatch program, Ray Comfort told us more about the film and why Christians are showing their support for it.
In the first 16 minutes, you will see evolution unmasked. It is absolutely unscientific. It can't be substantiated. It rests on nothing but blind faith. And that's the exact opposite of what atheists and evolutionists say. They say, intelligent design people have got blind faith, they reject science. No, it's the exact opposite, and this movie proves it to be true. We had over 1,000 people download it yesterday, and it really showed us, our website crashed. It really shows us that Christians are seeing the seriousness of the subject, because, you know, when someone believes in evolution, that opens up a wonderful door to every sinful pleasure you can imagine. If there's no God and we're merely primates, then anything goes. Homosexuality goes, lesbianism goes, fornication, adultery, pornography, and that's why this is so embraced by this generation. So we're very excited. In fact, I'm so excited about this movie, I can't sleep at night, seriously.
And you can download the film at Comfort's website. Find the link at our site, cbnnews.com. In Venezuela, the uncertain social and political climate may be actually helping the church to grow. Large crowds attended this month's evangelistic festival with Luis Palau. The nightly meetings drew more than 40,000 people to the fairgrounds of Barquisimeto, one of Venezuela's largest cities. Popular Christian artists prepared the way for Palau, whose invitation to follow Christ drew more than 4,000 responses. In a morning event for the younger audience, thousands of children received medical care and entertainment, including Bible stories and songs. Coming up, meet a man who survived being held hostage by an Islamist terrorist group and found a deeper relationship with God.
From CBN.
Broken Eardrum is playing at the Civic tonight.
And you'll just have to miss it.
This is so incredibly unfair.
A special story of love and sacrifice.
Joy, Mom comes up with something.
Christopher Quantum, you and I are going to discuss your attitude right this minute. Superbook.
No.
Join the Superbook DVD Club and get Superbook's newest episode, He is Risen. Plus 2 copies to share with others. All for your gift of $25.
They have arrested Jesus, the Messiah.
Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you?
No! Please! You can't!
They've taken him to Golgotha. We must hurry.
Mary is about to lose her son. The worst thing any mother could face. I am not leaving her.
Superbook. It's an amazing way to build a strong spiritual foundation in the children you love.
Mary, who are you looking for?
I've seen him! He is alive!
Superbook. He is Risen. Available now.
CBN News has learned that Sagan, the woman featured in our story about Eritrean refugees tortured in the Sinai, has been freed. CBN spoke with Sagan on the phone while she was held captive, and she described terrible treatment at the hands of her Bedouin captors. Meron Estafanos, the human rights advocate on behalf of these Eritreans, shared the good news. However, Sagan did lose the baby she was carrying. Many other Eritreans are still being tortured and held for ransom. Estafanos is appealing to the U.S. to put pressure on the new Egyptian government to stop this human trafficking. If you want to see our story on their plight, please log on to cbnnews.com. Well, recently, 7 Philippine Marines died trying to rescue hostages from the Sayyaf radical Muslim group linked to al-Qaeda. Very few kidnapped victims have been freed from the Abu Sayyaf. Lucia Talusan tells us how an encounter with God changed the life of one hostage who eventually made it out alive.
Raymond will never forget that afternoon when heavily armed Abu Sayyaf rebels seized him from his car.
For 2 hours, I was questioning God, why me, Lord? I was terrified for my life because just a few days before, there were victims who did not make it. The Abu Sayyaf killed them.
Raymond prayed he would not suffer the same fate as the other kidnapped victims.
I told God I am different from them. I will survive because you have a purpose why you allowed this to happen.
Raymond is a Christian who lives in one of the most Muslim towns of Mindanao.
Walking through the streets of this Muslim town gives you a feeling of uncertainty, especially if you're a Christian, because here, Christians are being targeted by kidnappers.
Former Abu Sayyaf member Almir is now an informer for the Philippine military. He says Islam and money motivate the Muslim terrorist group.
They are very angry with the Christians, especially the foreign tourists. If you don't pay the ransom, they will kill you. They want to Islamize the whole island, but this is impossible because here, the Christians and the Muslims, they live together.
Raymond became weary after more than a month of jungle captivity. Prayer and an encounter with God sustained him.
I said, Lord, if you're really here, give me a sign. Let it rain. It was very sunny during that day, but after I prayed, it suddenly rained so hard. I was happy, and that strengthened me again because I knew God was with me in that jungle. I made a commitment that if I got out, I will serve the Lord no matter what it cost.
Today, Raymond serves the Gideons and helps distribute Bibles, even to Muslim police officers.
Thank you for giving our police officers these Bibles. I am a Muslim, but I accept the Bible because some teachings are also in the Quran, and they help me a lot.
Lucille Talusan, CBN News, Mindanao, Philippines.
Up next, Mission of Mercy, how one woman's compassion led her to plant a homeless church.
You're watching CBN News Channel.
More than 600,000 Americans are homeless, and for those living on the streets of Charlotte, North Carolina, one grandmother is providing help 7 days a week. And as Ephraim Graham reports, some are even calling her a modern-day Mother Teresa.
The streets of Charlotte are home to more than 3,000 people. Rory Hot Dog Montgomery is one of them.
The way I will explain it, you are where you want, where God wants you to be at that time that He wants you to be there. I don't consider myself homeless, I'm just residentially disadvantaged.
At 63, Rory can fit all he owns in a shopping cart, but he's not bitter about his lot in life.
If I can do something good for somebody, even though I don't have, then maybe somebody that have can do something else for somebody else that don't have.
And Hot Dog's giving heart is pumped even bigger on Sunday afternoon,
God will never be talking back to you.
when he joins dozens of other homeless for church in this parking lot.
Get you off that corner of the block, you ain't in the riffraff. This might be the time something happened up there and God put me here to save me.
Doing mission work and traveling to different countries.
The tireless grandmother behind this growing church without walls is Freddie Power.
By God's grace, I'm not there. You know, we all could be there.
This is the second homeless church Miss Freddie has started through her Keeping Hope Alive ministry. Though she makes regular mission trips to Nicaragua, the Dominican Republic, and South Africa, she rarely misses a chance when at home to join her faithful.
Rain, snow, anything. One day it was snowing so hard, I thought there's no one going to be there. And I thought, no, I'm going to take groceries, I'm going to go. And there were 5 men with umbrellas with coats on, and they were just covered in snow. And we fed them and had church service. So they come no matter what.
They come for encouragement.
Yeah, and I feel like God says that He's just really proud of you in that role that you have.
Prayer.
He will always take care of me. He will always take care of me.
And food.
How's your job going? It's okay. Did you find a place to live?
This is still a walk of faith for Miss Freddie, who emptied her bank account to buy groceries for that very first service in 2008.
22 people gave their heart to Jesus that weekend. So I said, okay, God, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Just to do it again? And he said, yes, I want you to go do it again. Someone gave me money, so we were around, and 22 more people gave their heart to Jesus. And then he said, I want you to start a church for the homeless. Put out a few plastic chairs, and I'll bring the people.
Freddie Power's first church to the homeless began here on the corner of Duckworth and Wesley Heights on the streets of Charlotte. It's a corner with real spiritual significance for the city.
How are you today? How are you? I didn't see you last week.
That's because it meets just across the street from the site of a famous church built by Alfred Garr in the 1930s.
Even during the Depression, he brought the old Coliseum of Charlotte a brick at a time over here to build this. And it was this thick. The walls were this thick. And he paid them a sandwich a day just for the working. Isn't that amazing? And he believed in that church, and he believed that the Holy Spirit was coming in power.
Labeled a 20th century apostle, Garr's miracle meetings often made headlines in the Charlotte Observer. Miss Freddie says she and her team still witness miracles in the neighborhood today.
Someone invited me to come to the Garr Church land. The building was there then, and we felt the presence of the Lord still on the place for all the miracles that happened during that time. That's what's so great about it. We show up, and God does the rest. I don't do that part. I don't do the miracles, but He does. And He saves people, and He heals people.
Hot Dog is one of those miracles. Though blind in one eye, he can still create works of art like this with just a pencil, a Q-tip, and an eraser.
I use what God gives me when I can.
When you can.
Give me a little peace of mind.
He has such talent. He's amazing. And there he is on the streets. I couldn't believe it.
Miss Freddie offers only one prayer for Hot Dog and for the other walking miracles on these streets.
I want God to be real to them right where they're at. I want them to live a supernatural miracle life right where they're at.
And they have only one prayer for Miss Freddie.
I pray that she come back. That's for sure. I pray that she has safe trips and do what she has to do to make her world and other people's world better.
And that work is why some call her Charlotte's Mother Teresa.
You'll find it. You're doing good.
All right.
All right, see ya.
You coming next week?
I'll be here. Yeah.
Ephraim Graham, CBN News, Charlotte, North Carolina.
You haven't had a chance to pray.
From CBN.
Broken Eardrum is playing at the Civic tonight.
And you'll just have to miss it.
This is so incredibly unfair.
A special story of love and sacrifice.
Joy, Mom comes up with something.
Christopher Quantum, you and I are going to discuss your attitude right this minute.
Superbook.
No.
Join the Superbook DVD Club and get Superbook's newest episode, He is Risen, plus 2 copies to share with others, all for your gift of $25.
They have arrested Jesus, the Messiah.
Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you?
No! Please! You can't! They've taken him to Golgotha. We must hurry.
Mary is about to lose her son. The worst thing any mother could face. I am not leaving her.
Superbook. It's an amazing way to build a strong spiritual foundation in the children you love.
Mary, who are you looking for?
I've seen him! He is alive!
Superbook. He is Risen. Available now.
A mother finds comfort in the aftermath of a storm. Superstorm Sandy washed ashore a message in a bottle from her deceased daughter.
She felt very free there. She was happy and free, and she had her own identity. Every time I do something, I wonder, like, what would she say?
In April 2010, Mimi got a call from her daughter's school in Switzerland. 18-year-old Sydney had accidentally fallen off a cliff and died. But recently, Mimi received an unexpected message. This past December, workers cleaning up after Sandy found a message in a bottle. The faded message was from Sydney.
Be excellent to yourself, dude. If you get this, call this number.
Mimi believes her daughter wrote it when she was 10 years old. At the time, Sydney was with a friend in New York. Such a bittersweet story. God bless that mom. Well, that's going to do it now for the CBN News Channel. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. And tell us what you think about what you've seen today. You can do that on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. Have a great day. God bless.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.